Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 15 in the NFL. It's Monday afternoon, and we are talking right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Going to take a look at this week's Thursday night game, Arizona and the Rams. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
All right, Joe. Thanks so much for taking all these games all year long, covering all the toughest lines without question. Before we hear what you have to say about Arizona, St. Louis, tell us what your website, OffshoreInsiders.com, is all about, and emphasize the difference between what you do at your website, where you're giving your top plays each week, and in our videos, where you're just taking whatever I ask you to cover.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, Peter, I began handicapping obsessively as a youth back in the mid-'70s, and I honestly don't know if I've had a year with more backdoors going the wrong way than this year, but still, a fine year from start to finish, all sports combined, and if there's any truth to the breaks evening out, the best is yet to come for sure. So excited about the bowl season, OffshoreInsiders.com.
Okay, Joe, the Thursday night game, right now the Rams are 3.5-point home favorite. The total's 40. Arizona's off that close win over KC, and they have been stumbling a bit recently. They're still 9-4 against the spread overall on the year, but recently, kind of iffy against the spread. And the Rams, of course, off a second straight shutout win off a bad team, though. So I'm not sure. Obviously, they're probably not going to get another shutout win here. Are they probably going to have another strong defensive effort? Probably they will. 3.5, considering that Arizona still is a quality team, it seems like kind of a big cushion, although then again, it's tough to take a road team on these Thursday night games, short week, when they're going up against a strong team like St. Louis. I don't know what I think here. Then I was also thinking about the under before the line came out. It's 40. It makes me nervous as well. I guess I'd lean Arizona plus 3.5, but it makes me very nervous. What's your take on this game, Joe?
Yeah, well, Peter, I think even going back to the preseason, we were talking about Jeff Fisher. He made it very clear he wanted the Rams' identity to be a running game and where they would play defense, and it's kind of finally taking shape. That's exactly what they've done. I even decided to look up, which it was impossible not to, how teams have done off of consecutive shutouts. Actually, our database had only 3 times this century. I will say that it's not statistically overwhelming, but the team coming off of consecutive shutouts is actually 3-0 both straight up and against the spread. And it's by an average margin of only 19-10. The 2 unders were by 13 points each, and the 1 over was by 3. So at least what that says is, there hasn't been a market over adjustment. I was a little bit worried. I'm going to go with the under, by the way, here. Wow. But I was worried there might have been a little bit of a market over adjustment when you had a team that's coming off of consecutive shutouts, but that was not the case there. So using the scientific method, I was able to rule that out. But it's Arizona, obviously, with Carson Palmer out. When Palmer was playing, only once, the fewest passes they threw in a game was 31, and that was the only time they had less than 34. Meanwhile, with Drew Stanton, only once have they had more than 33 passes. So Arizona's kind of really toned it down a little bit. They've got a heck of a defense. St. Louis has finally gotten to where they want to be, where they're running the ball successfully and, kind of a throwback type thing. So kind of like I told you last week when we had the Temple game under, despite the low total, I think everything is pointing towards the under here.
Yeah, like I said, that was what I was thinking, before these lines came out. I was thinking, all right, I'm probably going to ignore the side, definitely going to be loving the under here. But then when I saw 40, I haven't bet it yet. But you think that such a low total is that, there's so many ways it can go over, defensive scores, whatever, fluky plays, the low total doesn't faze you.
Yeah, well, obviously, like I said, there's no such thing as guarantees, so I'm never unfazed. But, also keep in mind, especially with Arizona going with a fairly decent backup quarterback, but still a backup quarterback nonetheless. The Rams, part of the reason their games are a little higher scoring earlier in the year, they actually set a record for futility, only 1 sack in the first 6 weeks of the year. And when you consider that this was done when you're playing in an era where it's a passing game, you would think sacks would be higher, and sacks are higher, but not for the Rams, yet they've completely turned that around. They actually have 34 sacks since then, which is the most in the NFL during that time. So the Rams have also improved on their defense and their pass rush, and I really think that I really would be surprised if either one of these teams kind of goes outside the box and goes to a passing-oriented attack, or he really doesn't use the entire play clock. I think this is going to be conservative play calling from both teams, and yeah, I would agree that the biggest danger would be turnovers that would lead to a short field, or special teams or whatnot. But as far as the offenses versus defenses and the likely pace of this game, no, I think it's going to be very low scoring.
All right, tricky line set here. Thanks so much, Joe. Liking the under 40 on Thursday night.
The SBR network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.